Pranama. I was thinking about, I had a moment when I was teaching in one of my vinyasa classes last week, and I haven't totally felt this. I have to be honest. I haven't totally dropped into this feeling, but it was a moment where I was really missing like the congregation and the being in the temple together and being in the studio, and that moment where it's like everyone's connected through the movement and the music, and the vibe is just right, and the whole thing happens. And just recalling how incredibly special that is and can be. And I'm certain that we will get there again soon enough, and in time that we'll get there. And I was also thinking about how, you know, some people are pretty burnt out on this type of connecting, and especially for teachers, it can be really difficult to feel a connection with, you know, humans through the computer. But I have to say that I don't feel like that, and I feel very blessed, and I feel like there can be, and that there is this connection that happens. And I feel so fueled by it. And the other thing that is very exciting is that it affords us the opportunity to kind of step outside of what the sort of normal way of practicing had become for each of us, right? Depending on, you know, where we were at, like pre-pandemic. And for me, when I left New York City and I decided to come here to Thailand and kind of drop into a place where I could be teaching at a level where I felt that I wanted to stretch myself, and where I really wanted to be teaching. In that, with New York City lifestyle, at least, and I know it's different for everyone, but it felt a little bit like we were just kind of practicing to maintain, right? Like you just kind of come in and you get enough of a connection with like the right teacher, and you know, it's like just enough of the right vibration. But New York City is so insane, and I only know that because I haven't been living in New York for a year, to be like, wow, that was really hard on my body, you know, to like keep up like that. And that was really hard mentally, and just, you know, there's so much when you remove yourself of like what the reality is, the existence is. And I could see it even as in teaching, there was like only so much that I was able to give to my students. There was only so much that I was able to like really drop in and deepen, because I felt like every part of me was in constant motion to just kind of keep up, right? Whether that was just keeping up with spiritual teachings versus, you know, paying rent versus, you know, everything else that amazing tragic city has to offer. So that being said, I feel like this gives us the opportunity to come out of that mentality a bit. And, you know, I put that this class is, you know, going to be about an hour and 45 minutes. It may or may not be that long, right? But we're giving ourselves a moment in time to come in and to drop in and to experiment and to maybe receive some deeper knowledge, or receive knowledge that you heard, you know, a few years ago that lands in a different way, because now you're creating time and space for that to happen. And the waters are coming in here. It's starting to rain, which is really special. A good, positive, healing energy. And also, it could shut off the electricity. So I'm just, just warning you. Hopefully not. We'll put the prayer out. But let's just come into a seat. We're going to meditate for a little bit. We're going to chant a little bit and just ground. So close your eyes, come up nice and tall. And if you're just arriving, welcome. And this is a moment in time where there's no need to rush into the next experience or to just get through it. So allow yourself to fully be where you are, whatever you're feeling, whatever your body is telling you, whatever the wildness of the mind is. You don't have to be forceful. You can watch the mind. And bit by bit, breath by breath, begin to just take a little more control. So let's breathe in deep and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Continue deepening through your breath, and let's root the sits bones down and try to lift up even taller through the spine. And make those gentle adjustments so that you feel a sense of lengthening, but also a sense of widening through the sides of the waist. A feeling even to just lift the heart, lift and open the collarbones a bit, to feel the spaciousness of the heart begin to open, begin to stretch. And in your very best way possible for you, come into the utmost sweetness of your humanity, the sweetest part of your being. And try to tap into that love and tap into that gentleness and generosity, and give it right back to yourself, and just see if you can bring yourself into that frequency, that nectar of the sweetness of your spirit. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Let's bring the hands together at the heart, and we can rub the palms. We'll create a little bit of heat here, and let this be like a initiation into your sacred fire, sacred flame, and bring that flame into your heart. And for this portion of the practice, we're going to come together with the sound of Om, O-M. This is said to be the sound that the earth makes as it's spinning. Inhale. Inhale. And as you exhale, take a gentle bow of your head towards your hands and your heart. Let's bring the hands down to the lap. You can come up tall through the crown of the head. And we're just going to chant some mantra together. So I invite you to open your voice. Don't be shy. No one here can actually hear you, so it's fine. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And I'm just going to chant the whole time. So when it starts to become familiar to you, that's when you start to tune in with your own voice. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Sharanam. 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 Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Sharanam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Sharanam. Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Sharanam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Sharanam. Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai 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 Ganesha Sharanam. Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Take a deep breath in. And now hold the breath and engage Mulla Bhanda. Lift up at the base of the spine. Bring all of that breath and energy around your heart. And exhale, release the breath and let it go. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and open your eyes. Okay, so it's working. I see that it is working. It's magical. This is one of our primary tools for shifting our energy, right? And for shifting our internal frequency, shifting our external frequency, changing the atmosphere of the space around us, changing our inner atmosphere. And so all of you know me well enough to know that this is it. You know, this is what I love to do. So as much as I can weave it in, I'm going to. And it's so powerful, right? And sometimes we forget how powerful the mantra is. And it's the same thing with the yoga practice. We forget just how powerful it actually can be. And it's almost as if, I don't know, it's almost as if the way that it's reflected back to us in the world makes us think that it's like less of something, right? And we kind of forget to do it. Like we forget to chant or we forget to show up to practice. And then when we do, right, there's like so much that opens within us. So I am going to take you guys on a little bit of a journey, and it won't take too long. So you can stretch out your legs. We're going to have a little bit of a show and tell. And I want to travel with you across the universe. Yoga and mystical teachings from the ancient ones. Get ready, family. So we are going to go on just a very brief tour around the world, and we're going to touch upon some of the magnetic centers of the earth, otherwise known as sacred sites, places where there is a very potent energy, and we're just going to kind of tap into what these spaces sort of look like, and we're not going to go too deep into it. So I just kind of want you to see the visual and then, you know, take a step back, and we're going to discuss a bit. Sacred sites, what are they? They're generally speaking centers for very deep initiation. These are places in the earth where there is a congregation, a lineage, a tradition, depending on which part of the world you go to. And there are very sacred practices happening in these places. There are rituals, there are rites that are happening. Why? Because there is an energy frequency that is coalescing in these parts of the world. So this is the Buddhanath temple in Nepal, and I've actually been here. This lower portion represents the earth, and this dome represents water. And moving up here, this is fire, and then up at the top represents air. And these eyes are the all-seeing eyes of the Buddha that is always watching. So it's a Buddhist temple. This is called the Devil's Tower. I believe this is in Wyoming in the greater United States. And this is a site where many different Native American tribes do rites and rituals, sun dances, dream quests, all sorts of prayers happening here. And this is, you know, obviously something that is coming out of the earth, right? So there's nothing here that is being constructed. It's complete and one with nature. This is the pyramid, the Great Pyramid in Chichen Itza. So this is one of the most important ceremonial sites in Chichen Itza. And this is in Mexico. And so, you know, secret schools of knowledge. This is a Mayan, right, Mayan influenced temple. And so the Mayan tradition, right, has like so much information and knowledge, but it's been, you know, deeply hidden for much of time, and is just now beginning to come to the surface. And this is also one of the many sites that correspond to the solstices. So there are photos of during, I think, mostly, I think summer and winter solstice, where the sun sort of aligns perfectly and kind of hits the temple to illumine in a certain way. So interaction with nature. Stonehenge, right? This is like a very great mystery. Also coming from the earth, but how, right? That's just it, how. And it also interacts with the solstices as well. And so I know that we have Manhattanhenge in New York, right? It's like some moment in the summertime, I think, where like the sun comes down, and then all of a sudden there's like certain streets that will like totally line up, and it's like, oh, Manhattanhenge is happening, right? So this also happens with the solstices align with the stones in a certain way, but it's a great mystery, and no one knows like how it got there, and there's obviously many theories as to how, but no one knows. Let's see, where are we going to go? Oh, this is in Indonesia. So this is also a Buddhist temple in Indonesia. And transmissions of ancient teachings can happen in these places. So you can go and receive something immediately if you are in sort of the time, space, vibration to be able to receive it. You also might receive something that you don't know that you receive until time has passed, maybe many years later. I had this experience when I was in Egypt, and well, I'll just share it now. I remember being in Egypt, and it was so intense and so huge, like the energy was so huge that I couldn't quite like grasp it. And so it was like, something's happening. Like I know that something's happening, and so I'm just going to open myself to it and allow it to happen. And then it's going to catch up and begin to make sense later on. And actually, this was the year for myself. We went in 2018, and 2020 was the year for me and other practitioners that went to Egypt that all of a sudden, like the myths started to come up and we started to research and go a little bit deeper. I found yogic practices that are based in the Egyptian tradition. So it's interesting when you touch upon something and then, right, years later, the transmission can come through. Let's see, where are we going to next? Oh, one of my favorite places in the world. Okay, so unique stories, rituals, and practices. So this is on the banks of the Ganges River in Varanasi, which is where they have the burning ghats, which is where people essentially go to die and to be burned in this fire, which is said to be the first fire of humanity. So this is the story that this lineage holds, that it was the first fire and it's continuing to burn for however, many years that the earth has been around in this tradition. And essentially, what's very interesting about Varanasi is that it's a ritual city. So it is a city that is it is all ritual. It's non-stop bells ringing and mantras and the fire and the funerals are happening. And then at the same time, there's life that is happening. So there's people bathing in the water and doing rituals to the sun in the morning and rituals to the sun at night. And this image on the side, it's called Arati. And it's a prayer that's done in the morning, every sunrise and every sunset. And this is just what happens. The interesting thing about Varanasi, here's another image of some guys hanging out. The other thing that's interesting, an interesting story that goes along with this sacred site is that the Ganges River, it's going down. It's like going down, 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 down. And then when it comes to Varanasi, it goes up and it turns. And so when I was there, I remember looking at the river and saying, I can't tell if I'm downstream or I'm upstream. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I couldn't get oriented. And we met an amazing teacher there that basically told us everything that was happening. And because of this fire, right, being the first fire, the fire aligns with the sun and the river, right, is drawn into that sort of vortex of energy. And essentially, to make it shorter of a story, the reason why people are going into that fire specifically is because that fire is moving into the sun. So they're essentially taking people's souls and they're using the technology of the water and the fire to shoot the soul into the sun, which was pretty much blew my mind. So stories, rituals are happening. Secret schools of knowledge. So this is a monastery in Bhutan. And it's like tucked away in this sort of secret nook on this mountainside. And there was the second Buddha here, like a high Rinpoche, considered the second Buddha, said he meditated for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. And in that time, like completely drew protection around this monastery. And people, it's an active monastery, right? And it's a school, and this is where teachings are happening and knowledge is being shed. But a lot of times, right, these sites, there's a certain level of secrecy that's happening, right? There's a level of like, yeah, you can come and be a tourist and you can tap into it, but then the deeper teachings, right, the deeper knowledge is going to be hidden. Even this teacher that I met in Varanasi, it was like we had to visit him a couple of times before he opened that information. He had to make sure that we were able to really comprehend it and to kind of hold it in a certain way. So this is another temple in Egypt, and it's just to look at the enormity of it, right? This is the doorway into the temple down here. And this is a temple dedicated to Ramses, who was the ruler, I think, of the 19th dynasty. And it's a sun-oriented temple. So the sun comes through specific times of the year, will align with this doorway, and it will completely illuminate the inner temple here. Egypt is wild. Let's see. This is Uluru in Australia. I have a friend who just visited here and posted photos on her Facebook, and it looks like one of the most like powerful, energetic places on the planet. I was very surprised to feel that way. And okay, ties to ancestor and creation myths. So the Aboriginal people are the caretakers of this land, and this is where they believe all of their ancestors are, right? So this is where they get high frequency information from their ancestors, where their prayers go, their rituals, their rites, also natural, right? Natural source coming from the earth. And this is Machu Picchu. I think some of you have been to Machu Picchu. I have not. So this is a sacred Incan civilization city, right, that didn't get destroyed because a lot of the Incan cities were destroyed. And this one ended up being protected, right? It got overcovered by the nature. And then at a certain point, someone had discovered it. And it's just this incredible divine city, high vibrational city. And you can see here, right, the neuropsychic centers beneath the surface of the earth. So there's something happening in the earth, right? There's some energy that's coalescing, that's creating a frequency that then either the civilization is drawn to it, or they come out of that vibration and they are set with this sort of code, right, to practice in a certain way, to behave in a certain way, to connect to nature in a certain way, to connect to the spirit realm in a certain way, right? But the frequency is pulling it together, right? And then the civilization, the people are responding to it, perhaps, right? Or maybe, right, with Egypt, if they came, or, you know, even the Incas, right? Wherever they came from, there was the energy that pulled them into it. Why are we looking at this? Because we want to start to see that there are lines of energy that are moving all across the planet, and that these lines of energy are starting to intersect. And this is not an image to get too attached to. This is a suggestive image of, you know, being able to see, right, that there's these certain places where the frequencies are coming together, where there's a higher, right, voltage of energy. And so these are centers of light for humanity, right? And they have a correspondence with the physiological centers for the human being, which are also centers of light, right? Very familiar. And we can see this as a, again, not to get too attached to it, but to see like, oh, here are these energy centers and they're correlating with the chakras, right? Suggestive, right? That Mount Shasta, this is where, kind of where I'm from, right? This root, right? South America, so on and so forth. Okay, so the earth has these chakras. So there's these energy centers, there's these chakras of the earth, and then these temples are like put on top of these areas, right? These ritualistic cities, these very sort of spirit-driven cities or countries. And then we have us, right? Which is our own sort of world and universe, which exists within us, this chakra system and these lines of energy that are moving through us, which we all know. And then we have the energy that's moving across the planet, right? These sort of sound waves and vibrations that are surrounding the planet. And we have our inner vibration and the external vibration, right? So the inner vibration, right? All of the sort of thoughts that are getting stored in the psychological landscape. And then you have this external, right? Which, you know, on one level could be coming from you, right? Or you could interpret it as the environment that you're in and the energy that's being projected onto you. But lots of energy, right? Needless to say, lots of energy that we're working with. So when we think about codes, right, because the title of this sort of ongoing living workshop, right, this auric light codes. So this is straight out of the dictionary, right? It's a system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words, letters, especially for the purpose of secrecy, which is very interesting, right? Program instructions, converting into a particular code in order to convey a secret meaning. So we're wanting to figure out what is the code essentially to change the program. What is the code to change the program? Well, it's going to be mantra for one, right? And if you just look at what it looks like, so you have Sanskrit on the right, and then you have Gurmukhi on the left. And when I've been looking at Gurmukhi a lot lately, because this is what is more fueled in the Kundalini tradition, right? It's all Gurmukhi. And the way that they say to learn this is to just look at it, right? So you have to just look at it every day. You just start to look at it, and you look at it, and you look at it, and then you hear the sounds, and then you mimic the sounds, and you keep playing the sounds, and you're mimicking the sounds, and you're looking at it, and you're not really stressing yourself out, but there's a vibration, there's already a code that's embedded in this language to help you to open up, to be able to receive the knowledge, to be able to chant the mantra correctly, to be able to hold the mantra in a specific way. And then, of course, we have our meridian points, right? For those of us that are unfamiliar with this is all the yoga, right? All the yoga, all of the mantra, all of the breath, all of the pranayama is to get into all of these places to bring the energy into alignment, right? To open the codes of the body, right? An acupuncturist, acupressurist, a Thai masseuse is definitely working codes on the body. And then we have these codes in our hands, right, which correlate with the planets, which correlate with numerology. So every time we're touching our bodies with our hands in any shape that we use, any mudra that we make, and again, it's like coming out of this box that we've put yoga in, where we don't take it as seriously as we should be, right? That it's actually these really magical tools that we have that are very, very high level, but we've kind of dumbed them down, right? Just in our busyness of life, and for whatever reason, maybe we didn't know how to fit it in, but actually there's so much healing that can happen with our hands, right? There's so much healing that can happen through our whole energy body if we just give it some time. And this is on the right, this is just a diagram that I found of, I've never worked with this, but right, respectfully, it's just showing about the raising the energy level on the different chakra points is my understanding of this, how it increases and decreases, so that you could be able to really understand when something is low and how to move it up, which I think would be very advanced, like very advanced. And so then just bringing us to, right, the idea of the aura. And, all of you that are here today have been with me before, but for refresher and for those that are joining that are newer, right, the aura is the field that is surrounding, right, much of our energy body and all of these different layers of our experience and our being. And the aura is what is felt when you walk into a room. So you could potentially, right, like we're chanting Ganesh, where was the mantra going? Right? Like where is it going? So this is where we want to take these mantras and take the intention of the mind and actually start to visualize the aura, so that we can start to put these mantras in to the auric field, and you can start to put intention into your aura. So it isn't just, well, I'm chanting to God, and I'm chanting to, this, that, or that. It's a little bit more specific, which can also give you a more specific frequency, like feedback, to be able to work off of. You can start to feel when things align, when you're chanting and maybe imagining that your aura is gold, you can get some feedback, and then you can use that to walk into a room and completely shift the energy, right? You can shift the energy of your relationships. If there's somebody that, right, you don't totally vibe with, or there's something that's happening on a deeper personal level, you can up the frequency of the aura to help bring resolution, right? Which is so beautiful. And so then these last 2 points, all that we destroy and create gets stored in the aura, right? And our aura is what travels with us in the soul when we exit the body, right? So it's the aura meets with the soul, and then we go. So if you think about everything that we destroy and everything that we create gets stored into the aura, then probably what we want to do is we want to really try to create and live a life of a lot of creation, so that when we leave, right, we're bringing all of the wisdom with us. We're bringing creativity with us. We are exiting the planet not feeling that we created a ton of destruction, right, in our relationships or towards ourselves, but that we're leaving the planet with the high frequency of, what did I create? What was the beauty that I brought into this world? What were the possibilities and the opportunities that I brought to others? And through that, right, the aura becomes even more purified, and you have to see for yourself what that means to you. So the more you work with these tools and these aspects, right, you'll get the feedback, and you'll be able to understand you'll be able to start to sense it and to feel it. And you'll know when you need to put in a little more effort, and you'll know when you're kind of doing just fine. So with that, you're going to come and lay down on your backs, please. Thank you for that world tour. You were such good company. Come and lay down and interlace your fingers over your head and stretch the heels of the hands away from you. We're just going to stretch the body for a few moments. Reach through your toes. So reach your hands above the crown of your head. So all the way back. Yeah, invert the palms and press the hands away and press the feet away. Breathe in and breathe out. And then bring your arms alongside your body. And just rest. And just feel the weight of your body into the earth, and let all of the knowledge kind of land and move through you. Take a deeper breath in. And a deeper breath out. And now hug your right knee into your chest and give a gentle squeeze of the leg in. You can rock it a little bit in the hip. And then step your left foot onto the floor. So your knee is just going to come up nice and easy. And then widen your right knee wide and take the outer edge of your right foot with your right hand. So you're going to come into a half happy baby pose. So the foot is towards the ceiling. Yes, exactly. And then if you feel like you want to stretch your left leg away from you, you can absolutely do that. And you can reach your left arm out to the side. Sometimes I like to reach the left arm above my ear and kind of reach through the left side as I'm kind of allowing that right thigh to get really heavy and fall into the ground. So breathe deeply here. Concentrate and connect to the breath and see where the breath wants to go. One more inhale and exhale. Now, if your left leg is lengthened, re-step your left foot to the floor. And now bring your right ankle over your left leg so you have a figure 4 shape. Thread the needle. You're going to take your right hand through the hole and your left hand around. You can interlace the fingers around the thigh or the shin, but we call this a reclined pigeon. And you're just going to draw that left leg in close and flex your right toes and give a little energy to your right thigh to press it away. And feel like your sits bones can travel further away from your shoulders. And bring your shoulders underneath your heart and breathe deeply and really get into the stretching aspect of this portion of the practice. So you feel like your body is getting warm. The breath is big. The heart is opening. Now, eagle wrap the right leg over the left and bring the legs over to the left and open your right arm to the right. And if the eagle wrapping of the legs is a little too much, just stack the shins. That should lighten it up. You can straighten your right arm. You can bend at the right elbow. Opening through your right waist. Breathe in. And breathe out. Inhaling. And exhaling. And let's do one more. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And please come onto your backs and unwrap the legs and hug both knees into the chest. And take any movement here if you like to rock a little bit or make circles with the knees, anything that feels warming to the spine. And now hug your left leg in and stretch your right leg away from you. Good. Left leg is in, right leg is long. Now step your right foot to the floor and open your left leg up into that half happy baby. So this is just an easier entryway in for your inner groin and for your pelvis. And then once you have the grip, your left hand around the left foot, you can take your right leg away from you if that feels good for you. And if it's too much, you can always come back. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Let's step the left foot onto the right foot onto the floor rather, and then bring your left ankle over your right thigh and do that reclined pigeon. Left hand will go through, right hand will come around. And take another breath in and a breath out. And then you're going to eagle wrap the legs and you're going to bring the legs over to the right and you're going to open your left arm for the twist. exhale. And now please come onto your back, unravel the legs, and come into a full happy baby pose. So reach for the outer edges of both feet. And let the thighs get heavy. And breathe deep. And let there be some rocking if that feels good to you. Some ease into the lower back, some massaging into the sides of the spine. Let's give it one more breath in and a breath out. Let's hug the legs in. Let's rock and roll along the spine. You're going to come all the way up and over onto your hands and your knees. So just take a moment to get there, get yourself there. All fours, and you're going to come into just a very traditional Hatha style cat-cow. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale, lift up the hips and heart, and exhale deeply round the spine. And you're going easy here. Let the breath be very full, as if you're getting the breath into all of the different muscles and the nerve endings coming into the spine, in between the bones of the spine, from the base of the spine all the way up into the skull. Ujjayi breath, slight constriction in the back of the throat. And take another breath in, inhaling to lift the tailbone, to lift the heart. And then as you exhale, stretch back into your child's pose. Bring the hips to the heels and really reach your fingers forward. Crawl the arms forward. And yeah, lengthening through the sides of the waist, creating that space. And this is one of those poses that's just a phenomenal shape, right? If you can just give yourself a few minutes to check in this posture, you will do a very good service to your spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Try to let your tailbone just surrender towards the heels. And then just notice, scan the back body from the base of the spine really up until the middle of the back, and just notice if there's any sort of like locks of tension happening there. Try to extend the breath into that space. And you're going to start to come up onto your hands and knees and make your way into a variation of up dog where your knees are still on the ground. So you're essentially just going to take your pelvis forward and your heart is going to lift. Yes, perfect. And then you're going to exhale and come all the way back into that child's pose, but you won't get quite as settled. You're going to undulate. So your hips will come back to child's pose. And then as you breathe in, you're going to come forward towards that. Let's call it like a high cobra variation, right? You can be really sweet and stay very cautious of your spine. And then as you exhale, you'll come back. And you're just going to start to get into a little bit of a flow here. Just keep going with your breath. You can close your eyes, gaze through your third eye, and just feel your body. You're waking the body, this beautiful, incredible vessel. The only thing that gets in our way is our own psychoses. And we're learning how to manage that, which is so beautiful. Take two more. When you finish that second round, you'll drop back into that child's pose. There's no rush. Take your time. And your seat will land on your heels. And now walk your hands in so that you come to sit up on your heels. And you can bring your knees a little closer together. And let's take the finger tops and tent the fingers behind us. And you're just gonna lift either your heart or lift your hips up to the sky as well. So that's totally up to you. Sometimes I like to widen the knees a little bit more than I would for like a camel pose. And the stretch just feels really good. So see if that works for you. Yeah, beautiful. Take another breath here, and then slowly bring your seat back down to your heels and come up tall through the spine. And your hands can come onto your lap, and you're just gonna inhale, just lift the heart and kind of bring the elbows back, and then exhale round the spine. So just think of it like a cat-cow here. There's not a lot of velocity happening. You're still in this kind of ooey gooey, stretching, sappy, Hatha Vinyasa portion of the practice. So enjoy it, really luxuriate. Let a sound out. Let some energy out through the voice. And then just start to let that calm, coming into a tall spine. And then come forward onto your hands and knees, and please come into downward facing dog. So you'll tuck the toes and bring the legs back, and you want to stretch through the backs of the legs here. So go ahead and pedal out and sway the hips a bit from right to left. Anything that gets you a little more familiar with your body. But we want to stretch through that life nerve in the backs of the legs. We want to get that nice and awake. And then just take it out into a plank pose so that we can come into plank and stack the shoulders above the wrists and reach through the heels of the feet, and just take a moment, let that navel point begin to pulsate, let the fires begin to open, and don't be afraid of your fire. Just welcome it, honor it. Take a deeper inhale and exhale, downward facing dog. Let's come all the way back. Let's lift the right leg up and back, deep breath in. Let's bend the knee and open through the hip. Get that opening, press through the heels of the hands and engage through your lower belly. And now straighten through your right leg. Take a deep inhale and step the foot forward in between the hands. Beautiful. Good. Let's bring the back knee down to the ground. You're going to untuck the toes and reach the arms up to the sky. So you're in this crescent shape. You can do any mudra with your hands, but invite the energy of your hands to awaken no matter where they are. So you're bringing the energy up from the earth all the way out through your fingerprints. Your hips are falling. Your navel is lifting. Give it another breath in and a breath out. And now take your hands on either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift up the back knee, and take your right arm up to the sky for a twist. So you're twisting open, you're reaching through the back heel, you're reaching through the heart, you're breathing and you're feeling it, you're getting some information here. Take your right hand down on the inhale and step all the way back to downward facing dog as you exhale. Lift your left leg up, big breath in. Bend the knee and open the hip. Straighten through the leg, reach the heel of the foot back, and now step the foot forward in between the hands. Good. Your back knee will come down to the ground and your arms will lift up to the sky. You're in this crescent lunge. So my ladies that are on your moon, just be a little more gentle with yourself. You're going to avoid any breath of fire that we do in the practice. You're not going to engage through Mulla Bhanda, and you're just going to observe yourself really closely so that you feel safe, you feel in attunement. Breathe in, everyone, and breathe out. And now take your fingers down to the ground on either side of that front foot. Tuck tuck the back toes and lift the knee up, and take your left arm up to the sky and twist open, and reach through the back heel to extend through your collarbone, to extend through the crown of the head. Think of all of the meridian points beginning to open. Left arm coming down to the ground. Step all the way back to downward facing dog. Come forward into plank pose on the inhale. Child's pose as you exhale. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And inhale, come forward to all fours. And tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Come all the way back. Good. We're going to add on to this. Lift the right leg up on the inhale. Bend at the knee and open through the hip. Straighten through the leg on the breath in. Step the foot forward in between the hands. Bring your back knee to the ground. Reach your arms up to the sky. Stay here as you exhale. And breathe in. And let's stay for the breath out. And let's take the hands down on either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift up the back knee. Come into the twist. Reach your right arm up to the sky. And you're twisting open. Okay, a little bit of a move here. Reach your right arm forward over your ear, and now take it to the ground, and we're going to walk to the left to come in between both legs. And you're going to pause in between both legs. You're going to make sure the toes are parallel, and then take a flat back if you haven't. Breathe in and exhale, fold any amount into the legs. If you need to bend the knees a little bit, bend the knees. This is a good preparation for some of the Kundalini yoga to get the legs a bit open. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, let's lengthen the spine. Walk your fingertips forward. Come to the front of your mat into a low lunge. Bring your right toes forward. Low lunge, right over your right leg. Yeah, step your left foot forward, lengthen the spine at the top of the mat. And exhale, fold into your legs. Good. Take your hands behind you and interlace the fingers. You can bend the knees as much as you need to here. You can bring your nose towards your knees, kind of rounding the spine to stretch the spine a bit more. Think of your sits bones moving towards the heels of the feet. You can shake out the head no, shake out the head yes. Take an inhale and an exhale, and then separate your hands and start to bend the knees and swing your arms forward and come all the way up to stand. Straighten the legs, come up, and bring the hands into your heart. And now reach the arms up. Inhale, press your feet down, bring your root into the earth, and exhale, fold forward and bring your fingers down to the ground. And step your left leg back behind you as you inhale. And come to downward facing dog on the exhale. Good. You're welcome to come to a vinyasa, plank pose, if you want to come to knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, or you could come to child's pose, bringing the hips onto the heels for a breath. Wow. Amazing. And then let's come back to downward facing dog. Major thunder happening here. Good, we'll meet in down dog, and then let's just take the left leg up. Deep breath in. Let's bend the knee and open the hip. Beautiful, straighten through that left leg, inhaling, and step the foot forward in between the hands. Bring the back knee down, reach your arms up to the sky. You're coming into that crescent shape. Activating the moon energies within, precise energies. And now bring your hands on either side of that front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and bring your left arm up to the ceiling. So you're twisting. Go pretty slow here. Reach your left arm over your ear so you can feel the reach of the arm. And now take it to the ground and walk over to the right to come in between your legs. Lengthen the spine out as you arrive, and exhale, fold into the thighs. Any amount here. So if you have some hamstring stuff going on, just be very gentle. Don't need to be extreme. Deepen through your breath. Inhaling and exhaling, and then let's lengthen the spine, find that flat back as you inhale. As you exhale, low lunge at the top of the mat. So walk towards your left leg as you're breathing out. Step your right foot forward, lift the heart. Inhale. And exhale, fold over your legs. So both feet are at the top of the mat and you're folding over the legs. Take your hands behind you, do the opposite interlacing. Try to get the shoulders to hug onto the back body. Breathe in and breathe out. One more inhale. And exhale. And then you're gonna take a deep bend in the knees and swing the arms forward. And as the hands come forward, straighten your legs and lift yourself up. So there's a little more buoyancy there. And bring the hands into your heart. And then just reach that prayer right back up. Big inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your fingers all the way down to the ground. And step your right leg back behind you as you inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. And I'm going to give you an optional vinyasa. So you can come and flow through your plank chaturanga, or you can just come right back into child's pose. And we'll meet back into downward facing dog. And now please walk your hands towards your feet at the back of your mat and widen your legs a bit so your feet are about as wide as the mat. Beautiful. And then come onto your fingertops, even if that means you need to bend your knees a little bit here. Let the fingertops be to the ground. Yeah, so you're in a lengthened spine. And then bring your left hand under your throat center and reach your right arm up to the sky for a twist. And you can either have the hand flat or be on the fingertops, or even grab a brick if that's helpful for you. You can bend the right knee and or left knee rather, and straighten the right leg. So you're reaching the spine away from the hips. And then go ahead and reach the right hand down and switch sides and bring the left arm up, and you're bending through your right knee and straightening through your left leg. Reaching into it. Breathe in deep. And as you exhale, fold again onto the legs. Bring the left hand down. Lengthen your spine. And then again, as you exhale, fold into your legs and swing your hands behind you and interlace the fingers once again. And now bend your right knee to straighten your left leg and try to lift your spine a bit and look over to the left. So you're really stretching the spine out of that left hip crease. Yes. And then come back through center and take it to the other side. And then exhale to come back through center, and go ahead and gently release your hands, bring them down to the ground or your shins. Find a flat back, scoop the heart forward, and exhale to fold into your legs. And then come out into downward facing dog. Press the thighs back, stretch through the legs, stretch through the arms. And come all the way forward into plank pose, and come all the way down to the ground. And turn over onto your backs. And hug the legs into your chest. Very gently, just a gentle squeeze of the legs. And then just lengthen your legs away from you and come into just a very moment of Shavasana. just a little mini rest here. Let the energy from that, it's not a lot of asana, but there can be a lot of energy that begins to open and move through the body. And it's also wonderful to notice how little you can do and how much of an effect it can have. Breathe in and breathe out. And take another inhale and exhale, let it go. And just begin to move through your wrists and your ankles and move the energy around the body and stretch the arms above the head and just open things back up and keep the connection with you, whatever you feel most connected to. And then you can step the feet to the floor, you can hug the knees in, but we're gonna bring ourselves up into a nice tall seat. And you can come to face forward so that we're all kind of in the circle together. Beautiful. So let's come up with a nice tall spine, and we're going to shift the frequency. And I want you to just notice, so that you can also give me feedback, to notice these different sort of elements to what we're creating together through this ritual. And now we're going to go into the Kundalini vortex of energy, right? The sort of blast off. And we get to measure the two, which I think is a lot of fun. So let's bring the hands together and rub the palms and come back to that sacred fire. And then we're going to bring the hands into the heart, and you're going to make really clear lines from elbow to elbow, from the base of the palms to the tips of the fingers. Remember that the zodiac is in your hands. Your destiny is in your hands. Create a clear line from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Bring the chin in slightly so you feel lengthened through the back of the neck, and reach up through the crown. Breathe in deep and breathe out deep. Inhale and exhale. And please inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. hold the breath, engage Mulla Bhanda, bring up the base of the spine, engage the sex organs, the anus, the lower belly, bring all of these centered points in and up, consolidate the energy, press the palms, gaze out of the third eye. Exhale to release the breath, keep the hands in prayer. And we'll call in protection for ourselves, for each other as a community today, and for our planet. Inhale. Adgade name, Jagat Gade name, Sat Gade name, Siddhi Gurudeve name. Adgade name, Jagat Gade name, Sat Gade name, Siddhi Gurudeve name. Adgade name, Jagat Gade name, Sat Gade name, Siddhi Gurudeve name. Inhale. Squeeze, consolidate, compress, and project. And exhale, release, and let it go. Sat Nam and welcome. Okay, let's come forward onto hands and knees, and we're going to come into the Kundalini style cat-cow. So you're going to bring the wrists under shoulders, knees are underneath hips. The edges of the heels of the feet are touching because you have these pressure points in the heels of the feet. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine. And now your body is a little more warm, so you can be a little more fearless here. And you're going to whip through as fast as you can, getting the longest spine, getting the deepest breath. And remember, you're silently chanting Sat on the inhale and Nam on the exhale. Inhale Sat, exhale Nam.
ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ.
Breathe deep and move the spine. Remember, this cat-cow opens all 10 bodies when we do it at this velocity. When we move it at a certain pace, we're opening the secretion of the pineal gland, which is our antenna, which will guide us towards those higher frequencies. It will guide us to those sacred spaces, whether that's somewhere on the planet or that's somewhere deeper within ourselves. And you're just doing the best you can, given your circumstances, your body, your health, your emotional state. We're going to work quite a bit with prana today. So those of you that are on your moon, if the instruction is to do breath of fire, if you're on the first 1 to 4, 3 to 4 days of the moon, it's good to avoid breath of fire. And you'll just do long, deep breath. Let's keep going. Sat on the inhale, Nam on the exhale. We've got an ancient mantra playing, so know that that mantra is going into your aura. It's moving into that space to help you clean and clear. ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ. ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ. ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ. ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ
Ajuni Sapang Gur
30 more
Prasad
seconds.
Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर
Inhale, lift
प्रसाद
the
जप
heart to the sky. Deep
आद
breath
सच
in, engage Mulla
जुगाद
Bhanda.
सच है भी सच
Exhale deeply,
नानक
round the
होसी
spine,
भी
bring the navel to
सच
the spine, press the
एक
breath out.
ओंकार सतनाम करता
Find
पुरख
an inhale and press back
निर्भव
into child's pose.
निर्वैर
Now with the
अकाल
hands in
मूरत
front of you, bringing the palms together
अजूनी
into Guru
सैभं गुर
Pranam. So this is a
प्रसाद
prayer like you're
जप
bowing at the
आद
feet of the
सच
Guru. This
जुगाद
can be
सच
any
है
guru
भी
that you feel
सच
connected to. It could be your
नानक
inner guru,
होसी
your
भी
inner light.
सच
Making that clear
एक
connection, and then you're
ओंकार
bringing that
सतनाम
open
करता
secreting
पुरख
pineal gland
निर्भव
into the ley lines
निर्वैर
of the earth,
अकाल
into
मूरत
all of those energy
अजूनी
frequencies that are flowing, and you can
सैभं गुर
connect with all of those
प्रसाद
sacred
जप
places that we traveled
आद
to earlier
सच
today. All of the
जुगाद
prayers
सच
that are happening, all of
है
the
भी
teachings
सच
that are being shared.
नानक
You are a
होसी
part
भी
of this
सच
movement of
वाहेगुरु
restoring
जी का
the earth's
खालसा
consciousness and
वाहेगुरु जी
raising
की
it to a
फतेह
higher frequency. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And now please come up to sit in easy pose. So you'll sit with the legs in a nice comfortable cross-legged seat. If you want a little bit of padding underneath your hips, that's fine too. Okay, you're gonna bring your arms out wide and the palms will face up. So your arms are just out in a nice straight open T shape. So relax your shoulders onto your back body, close your eyes, bring your gaze into your third eye, and you're gonna begin breath of fire here, please. Inhale, exhale, even breaths. Palms face up. And imagine a beautiful golden rainbow from palm to palm. So this is the upper area of your auric field, and you're bringing a lot of prana into this field to help clear and consolidate. Strong breath. Palms are facing up. Try to straighten the arms even more if you can. And you just try to relax where you're able to relax. Tension is going to come into the body. You're opening these very specific points to get into the glands. Take a deep breath in and press the palms away like you're pressing into the walls. Press the palms out and hold the breath. Engage Mulla Bhanda, project out of the third eye. Feel your energy expanding, feel the aura expanding. And exhale, release the arms down. And just take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then we're going to bring our hands into a very specific mudra. You're going to take your sun finger, which is your ring finger, and you're going to bring the thumb on top of it. So you're holding it down and the other 3 fingers are open. And you're going to bring the elbows in line with the shoulders. So you're up to about here. And you're going to inhale 4 parts and exhale 4 parts through the nose. So in, out, 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 out. Sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. Go ahead and get it cooking. You're on the clock. Try to bring the elbows in line with the shoulders and just imagine you are an ancient Egyptian sorcerer student receiving something very special here. Try to pump the navel where you can, especially if you're not on your moon. Really get into that navel point, unlocking the fires there. And you're bringing in the sun. Inhale, bring your hands together at your heart and press the palms and hold the breath. Sit up nice and tall, consolidate the energy, lift up Mulla Bhanda, bring the energy up into the third eye and project the energy out into the aura. And exhale, release the breath, and now interlace your fingers and press the heels of the hands away from you. And you're going to inhale the arms up above the head, and you're going to exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale Sat, exhale Nam. Inhale Sat, exhale Nam. Close the eyes, gaze out of the third eye. Balancing the vertical and horizontal auras. The vertical and horizontal auras. Keep the gaze at the third eye. Keep that mantra moving through you. Inhale, reach the arms up and stretch up through the palms. Engage Mulla Bhanda, bring the energy up. And exhale, you can release the arms. You can move the fingers through your aura and bring the hands down. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. Good, and then we're going to come back to the arms being in this T shape, and this time the backs of the hands are facing the ceiling, and you're going to come up and bring the arms together. So you're going to inhale up and exhale to that T. Inhale Sat, exhale Nam. Try to get the backs of the hands to touch. Strong breath. Less than a minute left here. You're creating a stronger, more vibrant energy field around you. It's not easy. Keep going. Strong breath. Use your prana. Use your life force. Use your energy well. And inhale, bring the backs of the hands together above the head and just stretch up, stretch up. And exhale, bring the hands down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Good. And then one last time, you're going to bring your hands into Gyan Mudra. Your elbows are going to be here. You're going to inhale left and exhale right. Go with the breath, powerful breath. This mantra is all about the sacred winds. Strong breath. Last 30 seconds. Inhale through center, deep, full breath in. Hold the breath, engage Mulla Bhanda, press the index finger and thumb together. Bring that mudra to life. Project out of your third eye. And exhale, release the breath, let your arms come down, find a breath in. And a deep breath out. Okay, let's do one last thing here. We're going to bring the fingers onto the shoulders. And you're going to inhale left and exhale right. So you're doing this little side bend. You don't have to go quite as fast. So inhale Sat and exhale Nam, and just get into the sides of the waist a bit here. Give it a little more energy, a little more breath for just these last few moments. Get the mantra in there, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Another 15 seconds here. Get that breath and mantra into all the little crevices of the body and the subtle body. Really move it around. Inhale, you'll come up through center. Keep holding the shoulders. Try to reach the elbows away. Deep breath in. Hold the breath. Engage Mulla Bhanda. Squeeze everything. Project out of the third eye. Okay, exhale. Release your arms down and just pause for a moment. Close your eyes. And breathe deeply. And I want you to just feel your experience here. Again, not a huge amount of time overall in this portion of the practice. So just notice what is the frequency that you feel so that you can get more clear about your relationship to this practice. And then anything positive that you feel, imagine that positivity be embedded in this circle of light that is surrounding you, the high frequency that is moving through you and supporting you. and actively embed that energy, that feeling into this light bubble and allow it to grow so that it can move bigger than 4 feet in all directions, closer to 9 feet in all directions would be ideal. They say that when it falls below 4 feet, that's when we become depressed. That's when we become very stuck. So expand your energy, consciously expand. Breathe in deep and breathe out deep. And we're going to play this mantra. You're going to keep your eyes closed, bring your gaze into your third eye, and you're going to chant along, making the sounds, mimicking the sounds, even if you don't know the mantra. Mimic the sounds. And you're going to move this mantra into your aura just by making the sounds.
ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख, निरभउ निर्वैर अकाल मूरत। आजुनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच, है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख, निरभउ निर्वैर अकाल मूरत। आजुनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आद सच जुगाद सच, है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच। वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा।
Take a deep breath in and hold the breath. Hold the breath and project your prayer out. Release the breath. Exhale again. Take a deep breath in. You're going to fill everything up. Full breath in. Engage Mulla Bhanda. Try to consolidate the energy. And whatever you want to experience, whatever you want to bring into your life on this day, project that prayer out into your aura, into the magnetic field of the earth. Exhale, release the breath. And one more time, breathe in deep. Hold, consolidate, move the energy out. Exhale, release the breath. And bring your hands together at your heart and rub your palms. And bring the hands together in prayer and the prayer into the heart. Inhale deep and exhale. And we'll close with one long sat and a short nam. Breathing in. Sat Nam. Satnam, Namaste, Shanti, Shalom, Posh, peace, 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 and blessings, and much healing to you, and much love to you.